It's Alex Allman from Revolutionary Sex and alexallman.life. In this series of videos, we're talking about how good guys get the kind of women you really want without having to resort to gimmicks, tricks, and manipulation. Now, in the first video, I talked about how you can't get someone to like you by trying to get them to like you, and why most men believe they need some kind of trick to get a woman to like them. Now, if you haven't watched that video yet, I suggest you stop this video and go watch that one first, because you're going to get a lot more out of what we're going to talk about today. So in this video, I want to talk to you about how to have a great conversation with a woman that you're achingly attracted to and know exactly what to say. As we talked about in the last video, when you're achingly attracted to a woman, when you really think she's beautiful and you actually do want her to get to like you, that is usually the worst situation for you to make a good impression, for you to come across as the kind of man that you actually are, which is a good guy. So here's the reality of what's going on. And I think if you address what's real, then you can usually find a real. So you want to have sex with her. That's what's real. And what a lot of guys do is they try to not let her know that that's what they want. So they walk up to her and they're kind of thinking, if she knows that what I want is to have sex with her, then somehow this is going to go badly. And you have to think about the absurdity of that, because of course she knows that you want to have sex with her. It's glaringly obvious. So you know you want to have sex with her. She knows that you want to have sex with her, and you know that she knows. But you're going to walk up there and somehow pretend that you're not all that impressed with her, and it's fake. Now you also know that there's probably a lot of other men that also want to have sex with her, and that kind of presents a dilemma, because she's probably not going to have sex with all of you. And it sounds obvious, but you really need to look at this for what it really is. There's a lot of men that feel exactly the way you do. They're achingly attracted to her, and she's probably not going to have sex with all of you. And it's as counterintuitive and as impossible and cruel as this may seem, wanting to have sex with her really, really, really badly is unlikely to be the reason for her to choose to have sex with you. And see the bullet above, because she's probably not going to have sex with all of you. And there's probably a lot of men who really, really want to have sex with her. So that's a bit of a non-starter. That's just the way things are on the game board when you arrive into the situation. So you think that you've got to stand out from the rest of the guys. And that's a bit like wishing really hard to win the lottery. It's pointless. It doesn't work. I mean, all these guys are doing the same thing. They're all trying to set her apart, set themselves apart in order to, win her over to the idea that no, I'm the guy that you want to have sex with. And you need to recognize the inherent problems with this. The first problem is that it's exactly the same as trying to get somebody to like you. It's not a good way to get them to like you. It comes across as weird. She feels like you're trying to impress her. Right? You're trying to come across as cool in some way, either by playing no, I'm not really into her, or by talking about your Ferrari or your great job, or by, showing her your scintillating sense of humor and making her laugh. But the point is that when you're trying to set yourself apart from other men, there is a subtle transaction happening there in which you think that you can kind of use your charm or humor or whatever it is. If you give her that, then she'll give you the sex, right? And it's the transactional nature of it. It's the idea that you're going to trade me for something that sets the wheels off the road. Because that's not what sex and relationship are. Sex and relationship are not transactions. They shouldn't be. And I think that's where a lot of dating coaches fail. They feel like you need to show up as this and this and this so that you can get this and that and that. And actually, if you just erase the get mindset and you get into the share mindset, like we could share time together, we could have fun together, we could make love together, we could have a relationship together, you do things together. It's not It's not an exchange. There's no exchange happening, and it's the feeling that you want to exchange something that comes across as insulting. That's the way it comes across as insulting. It comes across as something she doesn't want anything to do with, and so she blows off guys like that. And when you think about it, it really does. It's not strange that she feels that you're expressing a negative opinion of her, because if you stop and think about it, you really think that she sorts for partners by who she's impressed with. In other words, is she looking for, she's like, one of these guys I might want to have sex with, or even make him my boyfriend, but he's going to have to be the one that impresses me the most. If she's that girl, if that's who she is, she's probably not somebody that you actually want to be with. I mean, you might want to have sex with her, but you probably don't want anything to do with her past that. And, frankly, that's probably not who she is. There are very few women who actually sort for partners that way. And when there are women like that, you know them when you see them. They're with like some, rich douchebag with a Ferrari, right? And they're getting an exchange for what they've got. That's not the woman you want. So how to have a great conversation with any woman and know exactly what to say? Well, here's the bad news, but it's also like if you get this, it unlocks the whole thing. It makes it really easy, okay? Not knowing what to say to a woman is a trailing indicator. It's a trailing indicator. Maybe you've heard that term in economics. A leading indicator is something that if this happens, then probably the economy is going to do this. And a trailing indicator is something that happens after the economy has already done that. So and I'm no economist, and I'll probably screw this up, but I'm pretty sure that when there's a lot of employment, when everybody's got a job, that's a leading indicator that the economy is about to tank, because employees become expensive, and that's difficult for businesses, and the business do bad, and it means that the stock market's probably going to go down, right? And the stock market going down is a trailing indicator of the fact that there was, labor was expensive. So when you can't have a comfortable conversation with a woman that you're really like super attracted to, it's a trailing indicator. And if you go to work on the thing itself, it's not going to work. What you need to do is go to work on the leading indicators, right? So again, I don't know how the economy works, but when the Fed prints more money or doesn't print more money, it's like when there's not enough money and people are poor and the Fed just prints more of it, that doesn't work, right? We know that doesn't work. That just causes inflation, I think. So, but the point is it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work to work on the thing itself. It's a trailing indicator. In other words, you've already done things that have screwed you up, that got you in this predicament, and the way to fix it isn't to learn a bunch of tricks and cool things to say and pick up lines and all that kind of stuff, because that Band-Aid isn't going to work for long. It's just going to cause, inflation of the problem, right? What you need to do is go to work on the things that are the leading indicators of why this is a problem for you in the first place. Probably the most common one is your own confidence and sense of worthiness. And this is a tough one, because even the most confident men, even the most confident women, and by the way, I've had this conversation with women from the other side. They suffer from all the same things that men do, but it shows up differently. But one of the things that I've discovered is the best looking, most successful, just coolest, like just stone cold cool guys that I know, women too, there's something in them that ultimately doesn't feel worthy of love. A lot of times you might feel worthy of sex, right? But to feel worthy of love, to really feel worthy of being chosen as a partner by a woman who's like phenomenal and has a ton of options, like why would she choose you? And so going to work on your sense of worthiness is maybe the most powerful way of being able to have endless, simple conversations. If you really believe that you are the great guy that, by the way, you are, if you believed that you're the catch that you really are, internally, if you could clean that up, which I know, easier said than done, then it would be super easy for you to walk up to that woman knowing that you're good for her and that you guys could be good together. And, anyone would be a fool not to be with you. Like if you really knew that in your heart, then you wouldn't worry about what to say. You just introduce yourself and then you'd see what she had to say. Maybe you just sit in silence and smile at her and see what was going to happen next, right? It would just be easy. Even if you were shy, it would be easy because you already know that you're a good guy and that she'd be lucky to have you. So this comes down to a belief. It's kind of a subset of beliefs, but there are all kinds of other beliefs that you might have wired into you that are screwing you up. One of those is that what we talked about in the previous slide, which is you have some internal belief that you've got to impress her in order for her to come and have sex with you. Or you may have some internal belief that you've got to get her to like you in order for her to have sex with you. So what happens is we get these beliefs early in life, and they're incredibly dysfunctional. They're completely twisted from reality, but we believe them because we've always believed them. We've just accepted them since we were kids. But now that we're adults, now that we're adult men, we have an opportunity to re-examine them and say, wait a minute, is this really true? So I've presented a couple of them to you already, and I've shown you, no, they are absolutely not true. Trying to get her to like you is never going to work. 100% going to repel her, but there's a piece of you that still feels like, I got to get her to like me. I got to get her to like me. It's hard to get rid of because it's a belief that's been in there a long time. So it's really important to uncover, to excavate these beliefs that aren't serving you, realize that they're bullshit, and when you really recognize under the bright light of reality, it slowly makes a shift in you. And the shift is real, and it actually does make this stuff pretty easy once you get it. Some of it's just a habitual mindset. You've just always done it this way. It's just a habit. Like a habitual mindset might be something like you see a beautiful woman, you feel butterflies in your stomach, and you're like, whoa, I'm kind of nervous. And so you think, well, then, she's going to see that I'm scared and it's going to be weird and I better not walk up to her. Right? So it's just like a habitual mindset. You see her, you want her, you feel the butterflies, and then that makes you feel like shit. It just makes you feel like shit, right? It brings up insecurities. So that habit, that like this goes to this, goes to this, goes to this, it's just a mind machine. It's a neural net. And again, these things can be broken and rearranged. I had this conversation with a lot of guys, and it was very freeing to them. It was very freeing to me when I realized it. I remember I was at an amusement park, and I was online for a roller coaster, and I was scared to death because everybody was on there screaming their heads off, and I was thinking, wow, I'm really scared, but yet I was online to do it. I wanted to be scared. I wanted that feeling of adrenaline and aliveness, and I made a connection between that and the way I feel when I'm at a party and I sit down and there's some people hanging out, and one of them is a really beautiful woman, and I feel myself feeling differently when she's talking, or when I'm talking, I'm trying to have an impact on her maybe. And I realized that all of this adrenaline and fear that I was feeling was aliveness. It's the kind of thing that we crave, and I began to look forward to it. So that when I saw a beautiful woman, I began to feel like, yes, this is alive. I can feel my blood, And that little shift enormously changed my ability to talk to beautiful women, right? Because I noticed and I made that shift in my habitual mindset. And then there's an unwillingness to let go of our hiding identities. In other words, again, this is a subset of the habitual mindset. We habitually try and puff ourselves up and be like, hey, yeah, what's going on? I'm Alex. What's going on with you? Yeah, all right, And that's not who we really are, right? That's a habitual identity that we hide behind. I'll tell you what I used to do. I was kind of a smart kid, and smart's all I had. I grew tall really late. I hit puberty late, so I was a shit athlete when I was in school. But one thing I was a pretty good student, and so I was kind of a smarty pants. And so anytime I was hanging out with some new people I hadn't met, is I would try and drop some big words or say something really intelligent, so people would go, oh, this kid's smart, because that's what I had. That's what I had to differentiate myself. And it was a hiding identity, right? That's not the way I acted in front of my friends. It was just something I did to try and impress people. And these things are hard to let go of, because when you let go of them and you act authentically, right? When you act vulnerably, when you let somebody see who you really are, it feels fucking dangerous. It feels fucking dangerous, right? So we need to learn how to feel confidence and worthiness. We need to learn how to find and eliminate these beliefs. We need to learn, right, how to break these habitual mindsets, and we need to learn how to have the courage to let go of our hiding identities. If we can do that, my friend, the world is your oyster. That really makes you the catch. That's the guy that women never seem to be able to find. And they talk about it all the time. Where are the good men? Well, they're the men that have done the work on this stuff, or, for some reason, they just came wired with it. Here's the thing. Knowing exactly what to say is automatic. That's the trick, right? That's really the trick. It's automatic, but you got to get these other things right first. And if you just get like one or two of them, if you get one or two of these beliefs, like, oh, wow, I've been trying to get her to like me. If you really get that, and then the next time you talk to a woman, see if you notice yourself doing it. When you notice yourself doing it, it'll be like, wow, like it's a whole new reality kind of falls on your head, rings a bell, and immediately you can feel the changes, right? And when you start stacking a couple of these, then knowing exactly what to say, being an attractive man and somebody who she loves hanging out with is automatic. And most women don't, think about it again. It's like, don't believe the bullshit, believe your eyes. Look with your eyes. Think about the beautiful women you know. Are they sorting for rich men? They're like, man, I wish I could meet a rich guy. Is that really what they're doing? Are they just sorting for the hottest guy? Now listen, we all love to look at beautiful humans, right? We love to look at the Victoria's Secret models. Women, they love to look at the movie star, but if you are good friends with a woman and you ask her, like, who do you think is the hottest movie star? And she's like, so-and-so. And you ask her, would you, like, if he just walked in the room and said, would you have sex with me? Would you? She may joke and say yes, but no, she wouldn't. She would absolutely not. That's not what people sort for, particularly not high-quality people that know that they have a lot of choice. A beautiful woman knows she has a lot of choice in the world. She's not sorting for that shit, believe me. She's sorting for authenticity. She really is. Knowing exactly what to say is automatic when you get some of these right. So I'm going to give you 5 of these tips right now that will just take any one of them or take all 5 of them and go out and notice this stuff. I guarantee it'll make a huge difference tonight. Might get you laid, might get you a girlfriend just from this. These are just 5 good ones. I actually, when I was getting ready to do this video, I scribbled down a list of 53 of them. And additionally, I scribbled down a bunch of tools that would help you install these new things in your life, right? Like, one thing is to say, oh, I need more worthiness. But another thing is like, well, how do you get there? How do you make yourself feel worthy? So I just want to talk to you about 5 of them. A worthiness thing is stop trying to trick her or figure out the right thing to say, right? That's a hack. That's a hack. I want you to notice when you're trying to like, if I do this, then she'll want to have sex with me. If you just notice that thought process in the act, and instead you just listen, just be present, just like listen to what she's saying and be actually curious about her as a human, it'll change things. Emotional authenticity, this is a huge one. Such a huge one. Emotional authenticity is probably the #1 thing that women sort for in the kind of men they want to be with long term. It's something incredibly rare that most men just don't have. And emotional authenticity means actually expressing what you're really feeling, whether that be, fear or shyness. When you say, look, I'm feeling kind of shy around you. And you don't say it from a, gee, would you be nice to me because I'm feeling kind of shy around you, because you're trying to like get something out of it, right? You're trying to get, okay, I'll be nice to you because you're shy, right? But if you're just like, no, I'm feeling shy around you right now, like women will respond to that if it's what's true and not an attempt to get something from them. Why? Because it takes balls, it takes courage, right? It takes enormous courage. Face your fear and be emotionally authentic, and you will get real results. Here's another one. Also emotional authenticity. This is kind of another piece of emotional authenticity, which is when you can be real with her, when you're not just playing a fucking game, particularly when you're out on a first date, you're not just meeting somebody in a bar, but you're actually hanging out. Maybe you met at a party, you've been talking for a while, and now you walked out to the backyard where a couple of people are hanging out, and the two of you are kind of talking in hushed tones. It's not time for humor and banter anymore, okay? You can if that's, what you're trying to pick up and whatever, but if you can become emotionally authentic, if you can be real with her, it gives her permission to do the scary thing too. It gives her permission to be authentic with you. And what she feels is, oh, thank God, what a fucking relief. What a relief to be able to be herself. What gives her permission to be herself? Easy. You having the courage to be yourself is what gives her permission to have the courage to be herself. And then she's going to feel great about being around you, right? Here's one on mindset. And it's about taking on the mindset of exploration. It's going from how to who. So an example of how is, how am I going to get her to like me? How am I going to get her to kiss me? How am I going to get her to give me her phone number? How am I going to get her to have sex with me? How am I going to get her to be my girlfriend? Right? Those are how questions. If you go from how questions to who questions, it ignites a sense of exploration. Like think of yourself as like, Cortez or Magellan, going around the world, looking at the sky for navigation, trying to see the signs that will let you accomplish what you set out for, not as a how, but as a true exploration, as a who. Like, who is this woman? Who is she? What keeps her up at night? What are her sexual fantasies? There's a great topic. What are her sexual fantasies and why? What wired that in there? How did that get to be the thing that she likes? What are her hobbies and the things that makes her feel great and why? And, what happened to her as a child that was the first time when she realized, wow, I'm beautiful and men want me. Like, really get curious about her. And you'll learn a lot about women. You'll learn a lot about this woman, and she'll feel your presence. Here's another one, another mindset. This is such a powerful mindset. It'll make such a huge difference in the way you relate to women. The mindset is that you're out for your enjoyment. You're out for your enjoyment. And you should be. Because, bro, life is short, and then you die, right? Life is short, and you shouldn't be out just being miserable, that like you'll win if you get her and you'll fail if you don't get her. Like, stop playing that game. Just be out for your enjoyment. Make sure it's always a win for you by making it fun for you. If she's being bitchy, then find it funny that she's being bitchy. Like, find a way to enjoy what's really going on. Why are you being bitchy? It's funny. And if she rejects you, well, good, because she was a bitch. And then, if she's, acting this way or that way and you're enjoying it, then go on that ride, right? Go on that ride. But you're out, whether it's when you met her or out on a date or the first time she comes home and you're getting ready to have sex with her. Don't think of it as like, I need to accomplish or I need to win or I need to impress. Instead, think of it as, I'm out to have fun. I'm out to enjoy this woman. I am out to enjoy myself with her. And when you get into that mind frame, she's going to want to come along with that ride because, who wouldn't? So here's 6. I said 5, but there was room on the slide. And this one's a belief, and it's the one that I most want to share with you because every time I say this to a man, it kind of cracks their brain open. Every time I say this to a man who's not getting the kind of women that he deserves to be getting, it cracks his mind open because this is one of those beliefs that we get when we're younger, and then we never question them, but it's totally dysfunctional, right? And the belief is that, women are trying to keep sex from you. They're trying to keep sex from you, And so you need to figure out how to like unlock the safe, right? There's a combination and you got to figure out how to unlock it to get sex because she's trying to keep the sex from you. And we believe that because when we were kids, when we were little, right? And we were like, I think you're pretty. And she was like, ew, ew, or like, ew, sex. Or like, if they saw a man and his towel fell off and she saw his penis, they'd all scatter and run, ew, ew, because they were little girls, right? And so, sex was ew and yucky and your body was ew and yucky and, right, everybody was embarrassed about everything. So we never re-examined this to recognize that adult women love sex, right? Adult women love sex, and as a consequence of that, she's on your side. She's rooting for you to win. She's your cheerleader. She's like, please get this right. Please get this right. Please get this right. Please don't try and impress me. Please, just show some emotional authenticity. Have the courage. She's totally on your side. She wants to have a great night too. She wants a boyfriend and she wants to get laid. Guarantee you. And every time that she's talking to a guy, she's rooting for him to succeed or she just blow him off, right? I mean, look, sometimes you're just not her type. You walk over to her, and you're a white guy. She only likes black guys. It's her thing. She knows it's not going anywhere because she's only going to date, a certain kind of guy. She only goes for guys in suits, and you're, a tattooed skater boy, or just the opposite, right? So, if she thinks it's going nowhere, then whatever. You're not going to win all of them, right? But if she's sitting there hanging out with you, right? Or she's agreed to go have coffee with you, or go have a drink with you, or go out to dinner with you, dude, she so wants to get laid, right? She so wants to discover that you turned out to be awesome. She's rooting for you. She's on your side. Here's how I learned this. This was kind of a crazy story. And it's just get this story in your mind and recognize the truth of it. I was hanging out with my girlfriend at the time, and we went out with her friend. I was in college, and we went out with her best friend, Lauren. So it was my girlfriend, her best friend, Lauren. And we went out to this party, and we show up to the party, and the party was completely filled with big drunk guys. They were all big, they were all drunk, and they were all guys. So at this point, there are 2 women in a room of 50 men. I'm the 51st man. And, these women are both pretty damn attractive, and there's a lot of testosterone in the room, and immediately, everybody is all the attention is on the 2 women, right? They're big, and they're drunk, and I'm feeling like we are not going to get out of here alive. I'm just looking for how we're going to get to the door, right? So Lauren starts playing a drinking game with these guys. And there's 6 guys and her, and as they're going around doing whatever this drinking game is, I don't even know what the rules were, but when something happens to you, you have to drink, and they're ganging up on her, so she's the one who always has to drink. So, even every guy is like, I'm going to make Lauren drink, I'm going to make Lauren drink, and she is getting fucked up, and she's laughing like, ha ha, no, stop, don't do that, ha. And I'm thinking, date rape, date rape, date rape. I mean, I've seen enough of these stories about the girl who got raped on the pool table, and I'm thinking, it's up to me. I'm gonna have to defend this girl, and these guys are, they're gonna kill me. They're gonna beat me up. They're gonna take me outside. They're gonna kick me a few times, maybe kill me, maybe just break a few ribs. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I do know that I can't beat 50 guys for sure. So I pull my girlfriend aside, and I'm like, listen, we gotta figure out how to get Lauren out of here, because these guys they've decided that she belongs to them. And when we try and get her out, I'm not even sure they're going to let us get to the door. This is going to be a real fucking problem. We need a strategy for how we're going to get your friend out of here. And my girlfriend turned around, she looked at me, and she said, Alex, you have no idea what you're talking about right now. Listen, Lauren, she's pre-med, summa cum laude. She's probably going to be first in the class. She's the smartest person in this room. Okay, she's way smarter than those guys. You don't think she knows what's going on? Do you think she's an idiot? Okay, because Lauren is not an idiot. Lauren wants to get laid. And she wants to be able to say to me tomorrow morning, oh, I was so drunk last night, I don't know why I did that, right? This is her game. They're not playing her, she's playing them. That's what's going on right now. And my brain exploded. My brain exploded. Right? But it taught me such a valuable lesson, and I'm hoping that it taught you a valuable lesson as well. So that's the video for today, but it leaves us with a question, another problem, which is, now that you've showed her that you're so cool and everything, and you can have a great conversation with her, well, what if that great conversation just turns her into a friend? What makes her think, wow, this guy's great, I want to be his best friend, versus, wow, this guy's great, I want him inside me right now, I want to, walk on beaches and make out with him. And how do you make that transition from just being a great guy to being a great guy that she can see in her bed? So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to get women to treat you like the earthly incarnation of Zeus, like the godly fellow that you are. In fact, not Zeus, Eros, like her love god. And the reason I said Zeus and not Eros at first is because I searched around the internet for a picture of Eros, the god of love, and it turns out he's this guy. And, I don't want you to be that guy, little baby with a bow. When I say her love god, like Eros himself, I had in my mind some awesome armor gleaming, flaming winged, we are Sparta kind of god that makes her weak in the knees. That's how I want her to treat you. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to make her feel that way. So please leave your comments and questions below. And if you have a friend that you think might benefit from this, please share it with them. Because I want to help women meet good men who aren't acting like clowns, even though they're actually, a real catch. So I will see you in the next video.